episode of Rad Rides. This is Hassan Shirazi. We have another special rad ride or radical ride for you today. This is a 2000 Mercedes Benz E55 AMG. This is a third post-merger AMG, a relatively obscure AMG. However, today we're going to be talking to you about it. We're going to cover some of the interior, exterior features, engine, some of the styling cues, and we're also going to at the end give the pros and cons, and we're going to do some more driving of it too. If you're new to this channel, make sure to check out my other videos about 3 previous AMGs. My own 1997 C36 AMG that is heavily modified. Also, we had an E55 AMG, a W211. This is a W210. The other one is a W211. And also we have an S63 AMG, a big boy 5.5 liter V8 twin turbo. I hope you like this show, and let's have some fun. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit more about this 2000 Mercedes Benz E55 AMG, which is actually a pretty rare AMG. They only brought 2,500 of these AMGs from 1999 all the way to 2002. Before this car, there was another 2 prior AMG and Mercedes-Benz collaborations. One of them was called the C43 AMG, which was a V8 naturally aspirated, much similar to this car, which is V8 naturally aspirated, from 1998 all the way to 2002. And then there was another one that was called the C36 AMG that was brought to the United States from 1995 to 1997. Before that, Mercedes was separate than AMG. People would buy a Mercedes, and I know it has it's a very luxurious car and comfortable car, and it's got a brand loyalty to it, but people were not happy about the performance level of it. So they would take the car, and AMG, which was an outhouse tuner, would tune him out and make him a bigger engine, suspension, braking, exhaust, everything was changed, body kit and whatnot, and the wheels. Then Mercedes realized that they were losing market share to AMG, so they started collaboration together from 1993, which was the C36 AMG. That was the first car. Then in 1999, they bought some of the shares of the AMG. And finally, in 2005, if I'm not mistaken, they fully bought out AMG and they made it an in-house tuner. So this car is very significant to Mercedes-Benz because it is still a joint collaboration between Mercedes-Benz and AMG. All right, guys, let's talk about the engine of this car. Mercedes has a code name for this engine. It's M113. It's a V8 5.4 liter, naturally aspirated. It makes 349 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. It's into a 5G-tronic transmission, which is actually a pretty solid transmission that can take up to 700 pound-feet of torque. And it does the 0-60 as a conservative figure released by Mercedes at 5.4 seconds. However, you had some other magazines like Motor Trend that got a 0-60 of 4.8 seconds. This car weighs 3,625 pounds. That's one of the greatest features about this car. It has a high torque and actually low weight for this big body of this car. The competitors of this car, which are the Audi S6 and BMW M5 E39 chassis, they had 0-60 of 5.4 seconds and 4.6 seconds respectively. Now, BMW weighed 3,720 some pounds and the Audi S6 weighed 3,800 some pounds. So this car had the least weight to it, and it was actually delivering some really, really good numbers. As usual, a lot of the European car makers in the 90s and in the 2000s, they didn't send their best high-performing models to the United States. We had that with the E36 BMW M3, that we only got the 240 horsepower engine ones, and then they had the 286, and then later on 321 horsepower engine for the E33 chassis. They never brought in the Audi RS2 to United States. They didn't bring some other models from other cars to the United States. Same story goes with this AMG. Unfortunately, although Mercedes brought the E55 AMG from 1999 all the way to 2002 to the United States, they did not bring this other AMG that was a E60 AMG that was introduced in 1996. It was making 376 horsepower and 428 pound-feet of torque. And then they had another version that was even more powerful. It's called the E60 AMG 6.3. That was 6.3 liter naturally aspirated. By the way, the other one was also naturally aspirated. And that one was making 399 horsepower and 454 pound-feet of torque. They only weighed about 120 pounds more than this E55 AMG. I like how Mercedes put the sticker under the hood by the headlights, indicating that you cannot touch the light when it's on, otherwise you get this electric shock sent through your system. All right guys, let's talk about the wheels and brakes of this car. First of all, the wheels. These are one of the most beautiful and iconic wheels that was designed by AMG. These particular wheels, if you look at the front ones, first of all, they're 18-inch wheels. The front ones are slightly narrower in the lip versus the rear, but they're so simple, they're so beautiful, and I like the fact that AMG is stamped on the wheels. These 18-inch wheels are wrapped in 245/40 Yokohama Advance in the front and 275/35 Yokohama Advance in the rear. The brakes on this car are 4-piston calipers made by AMG in the front, and in the rears are single-piston calipers. All right guys, as you know, Mercedes-Benz imported this E55 AMG to United States back in 1999 all the way through 2002. However, they had a facelift of this body style, the W210, in the year 2000. So for 1999, the E55 AMG had different bumper, front bumper, rear taillight. Also, where the headlight washers are is a little bit different, and the front end of the 2000 all the way to 2002 is actually a little bit sloped more or declined more. One other thing to mention about the front of this car, for the longest time, all the Mercedes models, the C classes, the E classes, the S classes, were inspired by the Italian designer Bruno Sacco. This gentleman was one of the chief designers that was working for Mercedes, and he's very well known for developing the W110, the E class, before this body style. So Mercedes, by designing this W210 in 1996 and putting these round headlights in front of it, they took a risk. It's an experimental risk. I kind of compare this to the video I made about the BMW M440i, how the grille in the front of it is so revolutionary and so big. Here's a little demo of the headlight washers working. The designing of this car is very special because this is the last of the square-bodied Mercedes-Benz, and this one happens to be the first one that had the quad headlights. Very elegant, and there's some lines in the hood that you see. It's very symmetric how it comes down. Grille is very simple. The newer AMGs, the E-Class, the C-Class, they actually have the star in the grille and they don't have it on the hood anymore, but there's something classic and nostalgic about this car. The lines are so nice, very subtle. Obviously the indicators are in the mirror. For 2000 and newer, they did have the indicators in the side view mirrors. You got some carbon fiber moldings on the B pillars. The moldings and the rocker panels or side skirts are very subtle. They do have a little curve to them, as you see. And you can never get enough of this staggered wheel. As you see, it's so nice, and how much it's sticking out, I'm thinking it's at least an inch. Coming to the rear, the bumper is very nice. It's got a little subtle, again, everything about this car is subtle, curve to it. A lot of the newer AMGs, there's nothing subtle about them. I love how this trunk decklet spoiler is there. I actually have one on my own C36 AMG too. None of these big spoilers. Obviously got your E55 AMG badges. And you got the AMG exhaust, and it makes a glorious sound. Take a listen. All right guys, let's talk about the interior of this car. This car has this beautiful two-tone seats. They're charcoal and gray, and even the seats have bolster and lumbar support that you see over there. And the wood trim is this great and immaculate shape, bird's eye maple. Mercedes has been known to make some of the best seats. This is a 23-year-old car. A lot of the competitors like Audis and BMWs, the seats would have been torn down by now, and it's just amazing how great these seats look. Let's talk a little bit about the interior of this car. It's very simple. The buttons are so big. There's no touch screen that you see on the new cars, and that's what makes this car great. Let's start off with the heated seats. You have one here, and only two settings for the front passengers. You got the headlight washers. The rear headrest, there's a button on here, just like a lot of Mercedes of the era, and it drops the rear headrest. You got your hazard light, you got your lock key, and also this button that you see here. It lifts up the back of the car so a little bit for towing the car. And you got your dual climate control, navigation. Look at all these buttons and look at that small screen. It's so funny. We actually need to insert a CD in for it to start working. Here's where the ashtray of this car is. Right here. And then if you don't want to see the ashtray, you do just this. All right guys, the power windows, the buttons are actually in the center area right next to the gear shifter, and also controlling the mirrors. Side view mirrors is also right here. You got to press here for passenger side, and you can shift the controller with this knob, and drivers is the one on the left. Opening up the trunk of the car, you press this button. Rear sunshade, this is how you press the go up and down. A little fun fact about the gear shifter on this car: when you press W means winter, your car starts kind of at a sluggish pace. It starts on second gear. When you press on S, some people call it sport or summer, but it's a more faster shifting on this car, and it starts on 1. The cup holder on all of these older Mercedes Benz are so quirky. Watch this. Press the button and it comes up. It's a single cup holder. Both of the front seats of this car come with power adjustment, and each of them also have 3 memory settings. A little fun fact about this car: if you want to adjust the steering wheel of this car, you press that little button and you see the steering wheel coming up and going down. This car still has its original factory phone. We're about to take a look at it. Motorola was the company commissioned by Mercedes Benz that made the phone. As you see, the M and Mercedes. This phone still works. Can you believe that? And it's got its little charger right here. All right. Under the armrest of this car, there's a little storage area that you see. So you can put your stuff in here, or if you're going on a little picnic or you want to keep something nice and cool, there is actually an air vent here that you can turn on, and it will keep your food nice and cool for you. So this is kind of like a little mini refrigerator. All right guys, I'm going to go in the back seat of the car. Very nice and comfortable seats. I do have enough room as far as the leg room, and I got enough headroom as well. Also, the owner of this car wanted to keep this car as German as possible, and he put some German stickers indicating that you cannot seat facing this way because the airbag is going to deploy and it's going to hurt you. Another tastefully installed German sticker by the owner. The owner of this car also installed these two other stickers right here, the green and the blue. The green one says in German that it is an R134A for the for the air conditioning system. And this is when something happens to you and you're stuck on the side of a road, you have to call this number. Obviously we're in the United States, so I'm pretty sure this phone number will not work for us. All right guys, driving this E55 AMG. It's a 23-year-old car, but it just drives absolutely amazing. They're so understated, so subtle. The fit and finish is excellent. The leather seats is amazing. The wood panel that you see. These cars also are very, very reliable for the Mercedes community. They have the M113 engine that it has. It is very reliable and doesn't have the lot of the rod bearing and problems that the newer AMGs have. It doesn't have the supercharger problems that the W210 E55 AMG has. I've always wanted to drive one of these E55 AMGs. They're very well known to being high quality, and also their V8 engine, the M113, is very stout, very torquey, and the car only weighs almost 3,600 pounds. So you got a lot of torque. That is something that you need when you just pull into the merge into the highway and you want to catch up with the speed. You just floor it and this thing doesn't disappoint. All right guys, we're gonna give this car a little bit of gas. It's absolutely amazing. Wow. All right guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Rad Rides, covering this beautiful and future classic Mercedes Benz E55 AMG 210 chassis. If you're new to this channel, we do 2 episodes every week when we cover a car that has significance in automotive history. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. That's one of the ways to grow our channel. And guess what? Our next car that has significance in automotive history is this one. This is an SLK 55 AMG, a 2-seater with a V8 in it. Until next time, bye-bye.